Okay, I'd like to call to order the regular council meeting of June 14th, 2021. Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Here.
Mr. Sensi.
Here.
Mr. Consul Magno.
Here.
Ms. Gibbons.
Here.
Mr. Hannon.
Present.
Mr. Harrison.
Present.
Mr. McLean.
Here.
Mr. Mallory.
Here.
Mr. O'Brien.
Present. All members are present and accounted for. At this time, could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, at this time, I would like to turn to chair announcements. An executive session of council was conducted on May 24th, 2021 for police personnel issues. At this time, can we turn to the reports of the official and our library director's report?
Good evening. My name's Christine. I'm the director of Your Public Library, where we provide opportunities to explore, learn, create, and connect. Happy to report that the library has lifted all COVID-19 restrictions except for wearing of a mask while in the library, which that will end fairly soon, I hope. All of our computers have been restored to their locations with the pre-COVID time limit of 3 hours per day. All tables and chairs have been restored, and the meeting rooms are again open and available for your use. Classes and events that are currently scheduled virtually or meeting outside will stay that way, but going forward, newly scheduled classes and events will be meeting in person. So the following are now currently meeting in person: one-on-one technology classes, Pinochle Club, Scrabble Club, Conversation Salon, our memory group, our writers group, Tuesday morning movies, Monday night book club, and mystery book club. Currently, all youth programs will remain virtual or will meet outside until the fall, but you'll be happy to know that a lot of our toys have returned to the family place area except puppets and anything that's soft. So like hard blocks, the railroad cars, they're all out. Summer reading for adults is going on through August 1st. So for every book that you read or listen to, you can complete an online entry. And weekly, one winner will be drawn for a $25 gift card. And then all entries submitted over the summer will be entered for a grand prize drawing, which this year is a Garmin smartwatch. Summer Learning for Kids has started. 8 weeks of nonstop fun. Our preschool kids will play bingo to win a book or a picture frame. The kindergarten through 6th grade kids will complete reading and learning challenges for chances to win weekly gift cards. And teens will check out our new teen book boxes, and they'll be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. And just a reminder that the library is closed on Sundays from Memorial Day through Labor Day, so we are not open on Sundays during the summer. And that is all that I have.
Any questions from council? Hearing none, thank you very much. Can we turn to the police chief's report in Chief O'Connor?
Mayor, Council, you know what, I'm going to take this off. I brought it just to be prepared, and I didn't want to get in trouble with Dr. Fauci and wind up in his book that he's writing. There we go. Thank you.
We thought that was for Mr. O'Brien.
I'll sell it to him. All right. Join with me in wishing our mayor and our manager happy birthday. It is the U.S. Army birthday today. Happy birthday, both veterans in the United States Army. Absolutely. It's also Flag Day, right, Mr. O'Brien? We have beautiful flags outside on the Veterans Memorial. It's Flag Day and Army birthday. Doesn't get much better than that. St. Patrick's Day.
Hey, Chief, I'm
Yeah.
also an Army veteran.
You are.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your service. I didn't know that.
Check that out there.
I will next time I'm up there. Thank you. Okay, and it also, 'tis the season. What season might that be? It is fireworks season. So here's the plan. I'm going to first of all ask people to be responsible, good citizens. Last year, even though the state legislature has deemed these things now to be legal, you don't have a right to disturb the peace with them. And we were flooded with calls last year. And when you set these things off, people that have young children and infants, it disturbs their peace. We have people with pets, the dogs start barking, and even more important, we have a lot of elderly people, and some of them are in early stages of dementia. And it causes them great emotional distress when these things are going off like that. So please be responsible. There's fireworks on the 26th. Enjoy them this year in Bethel Park. If you're going to shoot them off, you got to be on your property. There's still restrictions. You got to follow the restrictions. And just be a good neighbor and a responsible citizen, and don't set them off late at night and disturb people's peace. And we're going to ask for everybody's cooperation in doing that this year. But we do have a plan B. Questions?
Any questions?
Excellent.
Hearing none, thank you very much, Chief. Can we turn to the fire chief's report? And I'm hoping he's virtual.
Yes.
Yep, we're virtual. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
All right. Deputy Fire Chief Russ Beeson here for Chief Dave Gerber to give you the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company report for the month of May. In the month of May, we saw 4 structure fires, 3 mulch fires, 5 gas leaks, 1 vehicle accident, 5 electrical conditions, 4 calls to assist the police, 6 good intent calls, 16 fire alarms, and a total of 6 CO alarms for a total of 50 calls for the month of May. Your fire company would like to remind you of some summertime grilling tips, some do's and don'ts. We ask that you keep your grill at least 10 feet away from your house. Clean your grill on a regular basis. Check for gas leaks prior to igniting your grill. Keep any decorations away from your grill. Keep a spray bottle of water handy so that if the flames and the grease start to get up, you can suppress them back down. And to keep a fire extinguisher within a couple steps of your grill. Some of the don'ts. Do not turn on the gas while your grill lid is closed. Never leave your grill unattended, and use your grills outdoors. Important to say that. To further touch on what Chief O'Connor said in regards to fireworks, we ask you always keep a bucket of water or garden hose handy in case a fire does ignite from the launch site, and to douse the fireworks before putting them in the trash can. Never allow young children to play with or ignite the fireworks. Never carry fireworks in your pocket or shoot them off in metal or glass containers. It will create projectiles. Never point and throw fireworks at another person. And most of all, just be safe. That's all we have for you.
Any questions from council? Thank you very much. Can we turn to municipal manager's report in Mr. Christian?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Council, Mayor. Thank you so much. It's a great day to be here. It's been a while since we've been here, and I want to take a couple of minutes and give you an update in some areas. As we've talked about, we are having fireworks this year. It's going to be a very good event. They'll be launched from Millennium Park. Millennium Park will be closed to the public. It will only be the fireworks, the fire department, and the police department up there, and it will be completely closed to the public. There are several areas that will be utilized for the Summer Spectacular. On your screen right now, you'll see the Summer Spectacular flyer. This year's Independence Day celebration will occur on Saturday, June 27th, with fireworks starting at 9:40 p.m. The parking lots to view the fireworks will open up at 7 p.m. And to view those fireworks, you can park in the following approved lots: Abraham Lincoln Elementary School, Hamilton Presbyterian Church, Bethel Park Shop and Save, Lowe's. Please do not park in the Paramount Senior Living Center, Giant Eagle, Walmart on Route 88, Hillcrest Shopping Center. Please do not park next to the Brewsters. And St. Germain's Church, Cool Springs. Please do not park at the Sheridan at Bethel Park Senior Living Center. So it's going to be a great event, and we invite the public to get out there and see them. At some of the areas and parking lots, there will be food trucks and vendors out there. So we're still coordinating those specifics. Stay tuned to our website, www.bethelpark.net, for more information and the Facebook page. I want to take a couple minutes and talk to you about recreation. We are knee-deep in summer. It's going to be great, and we have so much opportunity going on at the Recreation Department. So summer 2021 for the Bethel Park Rec Department is busy, and we're looking so much more like a normal summer should be. We have 2 in-house summer youth camps and over 34 specialty camps, including music, sports, art, science, Lego, and theater are offered and scheduled to run through August. Our farmers market has over 40 vendors participating in either full season, half season, or once a month capacity. And we're looking at live music performance and return to on-site table screening or seating for customer eating. That's going to be great. I know where I'm going to be on Tuesdays. And now the flea market returns on June 19th at a brand new location, Christ United Methodist Church, with markets available in July, August, and September. Still more programs. The swim program is busy, and all the private lessons have filled up. I'm sorry. Please, we'll be adding some more lessons coming up soon. Room rentals are returning at the community center with birthday parties, grad parties, and more. Please contact our friendly staff over at the rec department to schedule your event. Our community center is back entrance has a beautiful new garden area, complete with a large, welcoming topiary bear. Please stop by. It looks fantastic. Our own public works over there worked on it fantastic. It's great. Looking ahead, we got some new welcome signage will be installed on the back entrance wall of the center, and plans are in the works for outdoor permanent signs at the front of the center. So much to talk about, so little time. It's fantastic. But now this is the best part of my job right here. I get to introduce new municipal employees. So if I could have Diana come on up here real quick, and David, please come on up here. This is something we started before COVID, and now we get to kind of return to it back in person. New employees are very important. Welcome them on board, and we have 2 top performers right here. Can't get any better. So Diana comes to us, Diana Alberta. She is the commercial administrative assistant and provides support to the engineering, planning, zoning, community services department. You have 2 kids, 15 and 17, or 15 and 12, sorry. 3 dogs, all rescues. And we have one little piece of information that probably not many people know about.
Oh, boy.
Why don't you tell?
Oh, boy. Okay. Something that not many people know about me is that I love motorcycles. Probably couldn't tell by looking at me. I do have my license, but I also make art with motorcycle parts and car parts. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We truly appreciate you coming on board, and we look forward to what the future has to hold. Thank you so much.
So excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, and the next individual needs no introduction, really, but he does, since you don't know him. David Rudolph. He is our long-awaited, much-anticipated code enforcement officer. So we took a little bit of hiatus to make sure we hired the right person, and man, did we hit the jackpot. Back-to-back jackpots with Diana and David. So we found the right person with the right mentality, the right background, and the right experience, and that's rolled all up right here in David. He comes to us from a wealth of experience from Ohio. He is relocated to Pennsylvania. He is married with 2 boys in college, so you're empty nesters. Also have a dog, so that's important. And then also, what is one thing that nobody else know, or not too many people know about? We'll let you tell that.
I'm a retired Ohio High School football referee with several playoff games and 2 regional championship games under my belt. But I retired. I don't do it anymore. So,
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on board, and we appreciate it. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Christian. Can now we turn to the mayor's report and Mayor Allen?
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. And I will say that if David comes past my house and tells me to cut the grass, I'll be cutting the grass. So I have a few things tonight. Tonight is our state of the municipality, so I'll go back to my seat and I'll read that. But before I get there, I just want to remind everyone about the Yeah, the farmer's market that Lawrence mentioned in South Park. The fireworks, again, June 26th at 9:40. And if for some reason it rains, there'll be Sunday, the 27th at the same time. Okay, we haven't done this for a while, and the Bethel Park, making Bethel Park a special place, seemed to take a hiatus, but we're back with full of vengeance. I'm going to recognize a few people here. You've seen them on television. I believe this happened at the end of April. I could be wrong, or beginning of May. But I want to bring up Clint Bergen, John Stappas, and John Oakes. And another person that we found out that was involved in this was Sawyer Dixon. He's not here, but our ex-council person is here. So, Paul, if you can come up. These gentlemen work for All Pro Plumbing. And like I said, you've probably seen it on television about the person that had a seizure, I guess, and fell into the creek. And these are the guys that saved his life. So, well deserved. John, can you give us a little bit about the incident?
Yeah, so there was one morning about 8:30, and we had a gentleman that got off the trolley tracks and went into diabetic shock, and he ended up falling into the creek. And I was able to see him, and along with Sawyer Dixon, Paul's son, and we ran out. And these guys, it's really a tribute to my guys. They didn't even question it. They came out, they ran down. We held him to the side of the creek until we were able to throw a ladder in and pull the gentleman out. He was in the hospital for a week. He fully recovered, did just well. So everything's back to normal. He's in good condition, and we're happy. We talked with his family. They brought us some gift cards, and it's just a really special day. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor Allen. You guys did an excellent job, as well as Sawyer. And I'm just beside myself. Thank you very much.
Let's give him a round of applause. It's unbelievable. This is a certificate of recognition for making Bethel Park a better place to live.
Go to speaker.
14th day of June, 2021. And John? And for Sawyer, Paul Dixon. So thank you, guys. It's terrific. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I also have a proclamation, which is a long time coming. Look forward to the day to do this. Let me read this to you. It's a proclamation for the termination of the state of emergency. June 14th, 2021. Whereas on or about April 9th, 2020, as mayor of the municipality of Bethel Park, I determined and declared that a state of emergency existed within the municipality of Bethel Park due to the imminent threat to public health, safety, and welfare of our citizens. Whereas I have determined that the conditions constituting a state of emergency no longer exist in the municipality of Bethel Park. Now therefore, I hereby terminate the above referenced declaration of the state of emergency and all the restrictions and orders contained therein. This declaration is effective June 14th, 2021.
Yeah.
So thank you. So that's all I had except for the state of the municipality, so I'll go back.
Well, as the mayor's going back, I'll comment on his declaration. It's been a long time in coming. I'd like to especially thank the community, all the volunteers and everybody that really stepped it up to help us. And I would encourage you, if you haven't got your vaccine shot, I would strongly encourage you to get your shot, to protect yourself and everybody around you. Mayor?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. So it's my honor and privilege to provide the annual State of the Municipality as required by our Home Rule Charter. I'd like to begin by recognizing and commending our municipal council, the municipal staff, police department, volunteer fire department, and the emergency medical team for all the hard work and dedication to this community. 2020 was a year that no one will forget. Through the generosity of our local businesses, we were able to assist many hundreds of families that needed help. Essential workers were there every step of the way, including grocery stores, pharmacies, restaurants, and restaurants for food pickup and delivery, and the list can go on and on. The municipality never closed. We were open for any questions and concerns that you may have had. My office sent out messages on a regular basis to keep all of our citizens updated. We worked together as a community to pull through the pandemic. Since the pandemic started, Bethel Park has had over 2,700 COVID cases. I'm happy to report that we have not had any deaths in the last 2 months, but we do have an occasional case every week. The county today had 4 cases for the whole county. Yesterday it had 7, so we're definitely in the right direction. As restrictions are loosened, we must not let our guard down. Continue to practice safe measures to keep yourself healthy. Our financial situation is sound. The municipal millage is at 2.78, including the fire department at 0.34. That's among the lowest in the county. Our 3 bordering neighbors, South Park is at 3.06, Mount Lebanon 4.71 mils, and Upper St. Clair at 3.83 mils. My last report, I mentioned some significant developments and redevelopments within the community. I'm pleased to report that this is an ongoing process, and since the last report, we've seen the following. We have up at Coal Springs, there's 65 townhouses being built up there in the near future. Bethel Pines plan of lots, which is behind the American Legion, there's 19 lots there. They're all sold, and there's actually 5 houses under roof. The new Dunkin' Donuts will be located next to Ann's, which was the old PNC building. If anyone hadn't tried it yet, Condado Tacos up in South Hills Village opened, I believe, in March, and that's a great place. We also have the Parkside development right behind Papa John's. For commercial, we have the Dream Greener landscape on Route 88, right across from Hillcrest. And they're also building the Chase Bank next to the Firestone. Recreation has become a main focus of this council. We're in the middle of upgrading our neighborhood parks by adding playground equipment, plus making large capital investments in the larger parks. We are currently upgrading Millennium Park to have baseball, softball fields only. Village Green is now a soccer lacrosse field with artificial turf. In addition, we've added new playground equipment to these parks, and Simmons Park was just upgraded 2 years ago. And as you may have heard, we're in the preliminary stages of building a splash pad at Park Avenue. This should be completed sometime in 2020, and we'll now have a recreation program for all ages. Even though it was a pretty quiet 2020, we're still making progress on the 40 acres in partnership with Allegheny Land Trust that's located at the intersection of Connor Road and Route 88. So look for changes down there. I believe that this council and staff, we must continue to have the vision that Bethel Park will always be looking to the future, and it is our responsibility to walk the delicate line between development and protecting our residents and our neighbors. So, Mr. President, it's my observation and my opinion that the state of the municipality is strong in all areas. I think that it continues to go forward, and we're positioned to adequately meet our immediate and future challenges. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. If I can just add one addendum, not to leave anybody out, but we are in the process of evaluating pickleball courts at Millennium Park. I know Mr. Sensei's been working with some of the neighbors, so we don't want you to think we're not going to do it. We're looking to get the plans done this fall for potentially construction in 2022. Okay, at this time, could I turn to the approval of the minutes and Mr. Hannan?
I move that we approve the minutes from the May 10th, 2021 regular council meeting.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Hannan, second by Ms. Gibbons, that we approve the minutes from the May 10th, 2021 regular council meeting. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno,
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Hannan,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Mowry,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. At this time, I'd like to turn to the approval of the bills and payrolls, and Mr. Hannan.
I move that we approve bill list number 061421 in the amount of $1,758,422.43.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Hannan, second by Ms. Gibbons, that we approve the bill list number 061421 in the amount of $1,758,422.43. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno,
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Hannan,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Mowry,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passed is 9-0. At this time, I would like to turn to the resident comment section for non-agenda items. Anybody that would like to speak on an item that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, can we turn to general policy and finance and Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Mr. Mowry. First item on the agenda is the IT Managed Service Provider RFP. I move that we approve Ford Business Machines for the managed IT services per the IT Administrator's Memorandum dated May 17th, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. McLean and second by Ms. Gibbons that we approve Ford Business Machines for the managed IT services per the IT Administrator's Memorandum dated May 17th, 2021. Any discussion of this item?
Mr. Mowry?
Mr. McLean?
Just so folks know, this is a contract for our outside IT services, and we are entering into a new multi-year agreement with Ford Business Machines. We put out an RFP and had 7 vendors respond, and this was determined to be the best option from among those who responded.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Any additional items? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno,
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Hannan,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Mowry,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. McLean?
Next agenda item is Ron Diskowski drop pension. I move that we accept Ronald Diskowski's request to enter the drop effective June 1, 2021.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McLean, second by Ms. Gibbons, that we accept Ronald Diskowski's request to enter the drop effective June 1st, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mr. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno,
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons,
Yes.
Mr. Hannan,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. McLean,
Yes.
Mr. Mowry,
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. McLean?
Mr. Mowry, there are no additional agenda items under general policy and finance.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Are there any additional items?
Mr. President.
Mr. Hannan?
I just want to update everybody on the American Rescue Plan that's going on right now to every community in the country is getting some funds from the federal government. Just want to update everybody on the American Rescue Plan, Bethel Park. Last week, we did officially get a letter from Governor Tom Wolf outlining that our maximum allocation will be up to $3,385,525.66 from the federal government. Since Bethel Park has a population of less than 50,000, we will be receiving these funds through the state. As mentioned in the past, we expect to receive 50% of the money in 2021 and the balance in 2022. In order to receive these funds, you must register with the state, and there is documentation that we must submit. Our finance director, Lisa LaPuglia, has submitted most of all the information needed, and if all goes well, we should be receiving our first allocation sometime in July. We have not received official correspondence on how the money can be spent. We have been provided by our auditor what they believe to be the classifications, and they are the 5 following: support public health response, address negative economic impact, provide government services to the extent of a reduction in revenue, provide premium pay for essential workers, make necessary investments in water, sewer, stormwater, or broadband infrastructure. The subcommittee will be meeting again in 2 weeks to review our current expenditure that were COVID-related and review our finances. I will provide an update at next month's meeting. As outlined in Category 5, we will be spending about $250,000 this evening on sewer-related projects. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hannon. Any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to health, safety, and welfare? And Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Tonight, we have one item on the agenda. BPPD Administrative Lieutenant Promotion. I move that we approve the promotion of Sergeant David Arnold to Administrative Lieutenant effective July 1st, 2021.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hannon, Mr. O'Brien, second by Ms. Gibbons, that we approve the promotion of Sergeant David Arnold to the Administrative Lieutenant's position effective July 1st, 2021. This is twofold. Earlier, we accepted Mr. Ronald Duskowski drop pension with his intention to retire from the municipality. He will be seeking their interest, and we want to thank Ron for his hard work, his dedication to Bethel Park, and everything he's done for the department and for the community. And on this motion, we welcome David Arnold. Sergeant David Arnold is hopefully to be the soon new administrative lieutenant. So would like to thank him for his 20 years service to the police department, and most recently as a sergeant. Are there any discussions of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Consolmagno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mallory.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. Murray, there are no other items under health, safety, and welfare, although I have one.
Mr. O'Brien.
I'd like to talk about Memorial Day. Oh, what a grand day it was. It's like the first day back to somewhat of real life. And there's so many people to thank. The volunteers and all the staff, Public Works, the chief, the municipal manager, the list goes on, council, and all the volunteers that came and prepared the memorial and the parade and the cemetery. It was just really good to be back to somewhat of a normal life. And then the people responded. They came out in large numbers. It may have been, in my recollection, the largest participation on Memorial Day by the people of Bethel Park that I remember. And then to cap it all off, our municipal manager, Lieutenant Colonel Lawrence Christian, gave us a profound and emotional message about what Memorial Day means to himself and his family. And if you haven't had the opportunity to see it on Dave Cable's group of friends to produce the program on our local channels, take the time. It's worth it. It gives you a perspective from a lieutenant colonel who's given his life to the military service and what it means Memorial Day. And you'll really feel like you knew Lawrence's friends who he left behind so many years ago. So I want to thank everyone. It's just thank everyone for their help. Thank you, Mr. Murray.
Thank you. Just to add to that, I would also, it was just a fantastic day for everybody. The community really came out. They did it socially distanced, and the parade was spread out, so it was very nice. And I'd also like to thank the Bethel Park America Legion for coordinating at the cemetery, and for Ken Nagel for coordinating probably one of the longest or best parades we've had in a while, not to offend anybody that did it previously, but it was just a great day, and would like to thank the American Legion. Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Are there any additional items?
President Murray.
Mr. Consul Magno.
Excuse me, I wanted to announce to the community on July 17th, Coverdale will be celebrating the 100th anniversary. That and Miners Park grand reopening. And if you haven't been to Miners Park, shame on you. Get up there and have the kids enjoy the playground equipment. Yeah, it's going to be a re-grand opening, but the children have been enjoying it all summer long. It's going to be a great event, July 17th. We'll be dedicating a bench in the honor of our former council person. The Miners Memorial exhibit in the church, I had a chance to view it last year, and they've just been able to get a lot more artifacts. And so if you want to see the history of Coverdale, of Bethel Park, and that small community up there right next to the industrial park, come up and enjoy us and join in the festivities on July 17th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Consul Magno. Are there any additional items? Hearing none, can we turn to planning and zoning and Ms. Gibbons? And we have no residents signed up to speak. I didn't forget about you tonight.
You did not. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy. Resolution R6-14-21A, Renda Salon DEP Sewage Facilities Planning Module. I move that we approve Resolution R6-14-21A for the Renda Salon Land Development DEP Sewage Facilities Planning Module per the Interim Municipal Planners Memorandum dated May 18th, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Ms. Gibbons, second by Mr. Hannan, that we approve the resolution R6-14-21A for the Renda Salon Land Development DEP Sewage Facilities Planning Module per the Interim Municipal Planners Memorandum dated May 18th, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Ms. Gibbons.
This is just part of the review process for the this new development. They will be tapping into the existing sewage.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Any additional items? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Consul Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannan.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mallory.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Ms. Gibbons.
Application number 2021-0156, the Enclave at Cool Springs Preliminary Final Major Land Development, Hamilton Road and Baptist Road, property block and lot number 316-E-10, applicant Penn Cove Group Capital LLC, zoning district RT, Townhouse Dwelling District, Ward 5. I move that we approve application number 2021-0156, the Enclave at Cool Springs Preliminary Final Major Land Development per the Interim Municipal Planners Memorandum dated May 17th, 2021.
Second.
There's been a motion by Ms. Gibbons, second by Mr. Harrison, that we approve application 2021 Enclave at Cool Springs Preliminary Final Major Land Development per the Interim Municipal Planners Memorandum dated May 17th, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Ms. Gibbons.
This is the approval for the 65 townhouse development that is going in up at Cool Springs.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Any other comments? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Ms. Gibbons.
Application number 2021-0157, Cool Springs Subdivision Revision Number 3, Preliminary Final Major Subdivision. I move that we approve the Cool Springs Subdivision Revision Number 3, Preliminary Final Major Subdivision Plan per the interim municipal planner's memorandum dated May 17th, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Ms. Gibbons, second by Mr. Harrison, that we approve the Cool Springs Subdivision Revision Number 3, Preliminary Final Major Subdivision Plan per the interim municipal planner's memorandum dated May 17th, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Ms. Gibbons.
And this is the subdivision of 2 parcels within the Cool Springs development.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Ms. Gibbons.
Application number 2021-0158, The Enclave at Cool Springs Preliminary Final Major Subdivision, Hamilton Road and Baptist Road, property block and lot number 316-E-10, applicant Penn Cove Group Capital LLC, zoning district RT Townhouse Dwelling District, Ward 5. I move that we approve application number 2021-0158, The Enclave at Cool Springs Preliminary Final Major Subdivision per the interim municipal planner's memorandum dated May 17, 2021.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Gibbons, second by Mr. Harrison, that we approve application number 2021-0158, the Enclave at Cool Springs Preliminary Final Major Subdivision per the interim municipal planner's memorandum dated May 17, 2021. Ms. Gibbons.
Yes, this is the actual subdivision of the land where these 65 townhouses are being built. This is separate from the subdivision in a different part of the property.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Any additional comments? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Ms. Gibbons.
Ordinance number 6-14-21A, Chapter 27, Property Maintenance Code Amendment. I move that we approve ordinance number 6-24-21A per the interim municipal planner's memorandum, June 8th, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Ms. Gibbons, second by Mr. McLean, that we approve ordinance number 6-24-21A per the interim municipal planner's memorandum dated June 8, 2021. Ms. Gibbons.
And this is the update to the ordinance.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Are there any additional comments? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Ms. Gibbons.
Ordinance number 6-14-21B, Chapter 59, Streets, Sidewalks, and Public Places. I move that we approve ordinance number 6-14-21B per the interim municipal planner's memorandum dated June 8th, 2021.
Second. There's a motion by Ms. Gibbons, second by Mr. Hannon, that we approve ordinance number 6-14-21B per the interim municipal planner's memorandum dated June 8, 2021. Ms. Gibbons.
This is to regulate the sidewalk construction and maintenance by ordinance in Bethel Park.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. Are there any additional items? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Ms. Gibbons.
There are no additional items under planning and zoning.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbons. The two ordinances we just adopted are kind of tied into Blueprint Bethel Park. One of the requirements or recommendations from the blueprint was to update a number of our ordinances. So this is kind of the early steps in the process. We will be adopting at some point in the near future a sidewalk program on our strategy for how putting new sidewalks out there. Kind of tied into that, but probably will come first about a maintenance program for sidewalks. Currently, if it's in the right of way and we own it, then it's our responsibility. If not, it's the property owner that's responsible. We're working on coming up with a plan to help the property owner when it's on their property. And the second ordinance we're working on is also to establish sidewalks in neighborhoods where people would like them. If your street wants a sidewalk, we're going to establish a process to put in place on how you would petition the municipality to do that. So a lot of things going on regarding sidewalks mobility, but this is kind of the start of rewriting what we have and updating it, and then we'll be showing everybody where we're going to be going over the next several months. Okay, at this time I would like to turn to Public Works and Maintenance and Mr. Consul Magno.
Thank you. We have 4 items under the Public Works and Maintenance. First item, purchase of a Bandit 200 XL brush chipper. I move that we approve the purchase of a Bandit 200 XL brush chipper per the Public Works Director's memorandum dated May 21st, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Consul Magno, second by Ms. Gibbons, that we approve the purchase of the Bandit 200 XL brush chipper per the Public Works Director's memorandum dated May 21st, 2021. Any discussion of this item?
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Consul Magno.
This Bandit will improve the efficiency of our department in cleaning up Bethel Park shrubs and trees and things like that, and also will reduce the amount of rental costs that we have to, to rent other equipment. So the purchase will go to good use.
Thank you, Mr. Consul Magno. Any additional comments? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Consul Magno.
Absolutely, yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Consul Magno.
The second item is Sawmill Run Stream Restoration Project. I move that we award the bid for the Sawmill Run Stream Restoration Project to C. Crump Incorporated per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated May 18th, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Consul Magno, second by Ms. Gibbons, that we award a bid for the Sawmill Run Stream Restoration Project to C. Crump Inc. per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated May 18, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Consul Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Consul Magno.
Third item, Resolution R6-14-21B 2021 Alcosan Grow Grant Resolution to apply. I move that we approve Resolution R6-14-21B to apply for the Alcosan Grow Grant per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated May 18th, 2021.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Consul Magno, second by Ms. Gibbons, that we approve Resolution R6-14-21B to apply for the Alcosan Grow Grant per the Director of Engineering's memorandum dated May 18, 2021. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Consul Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Consul Magno.
The next item, 2021 Sanitary Sewer Lining Project. I move that we approve a contract increase from $256,650 to $472,762 based on Insight Pipes 2021 contract prices per the Director of Engineering's revised memorandum dated June 7th, 2021.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Council Magno, second by Ms. Gibbons, that we approve a contract increase from $256,650 to $472,762 based on Insight Pipe's 2021 contract prices per the Director of Engineers revised memorandum dated June 7, 2021. Any discussion of this item? We're upping our, and you'll find out in a minute here where we're getting the funds from, but one of the things that we've been working on, in particular with the authority, is trying to take the water out of the sanitary system. In the past, we've had areas that have flooded. We're going to be required by the DEP to do some additional work. So this is something to maintain the sewer taps that we need. It's something we got to do. It's either now or later. Since some funds became available, you'll find out in a minute that where some of the funds are coming from. But it's something we're taking the aggressive approach to really try to take the water out of the sewer system. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Council Magno.
The final item, ARP funds use, sewer lining and manhole rehab contracts. Staff recommends utilizing American Rescue Plan funds to pay for the contract increases of the sewer lining contract from $256,650 to $472,762, and MH rehab contract from $89,600 to $182,850.24 to remain compliant with the corrective action plan.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Council Magno, second by Mr. O'Brien. That staff recommends utilizing American Rescue Plan funds to pay for the contract increases of the sewer lining contract from $256,000 to $472,762, and the manhole rehab contract from $89,600 to $182,850.24 to remain compliant with the corrective action plan. Any discussion of this item? Mr. Christian, would you please call the roll?
Dr. Campbell.
Yes.
Mr. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Council Magno.
Yes.
Ms. Gibbons.
Yes.
Mr. Hannon.
Yes.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mr. Mowry.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0. Mr. Council Magno.
There are no other items under Public Works.
I
and
think he
ma-
spent all our money, I think. Goodness.
I'm sorry about that, but it's needed, so. thank
Okay, any additional items? Hearing none, I just have one item. I saved the best for last. The mayor talked about, and we've been talking about some of the upgrading of our neighborhood parks, in particular Oak Tree, Birch Tree, and Millennium. What we did when we did the Miners Park renovations, which was pre-COVID 2 years ago, we actually, Mr. Council Magno, Mr. Christian, arranged a neighborhood meeting to let the kids, the people that are using the parks, the ones that make the selection on the playground equipment. We worked with 2 different suppliers, came up with 2 different options, so the kids got to pick what's going on in at Miners Park. Obviously, last year with COVID, and we'll be hearing this forever, I guess, we delayed everything from last year to this year, and because of COVID, it was going to be much more challenging to have a neighborhood meeting. So what each member of council did is put a flyer out to the neighboring property owners to get their pick of the 2 options. And it was kind of neat that a lot of the people wanted their kids to pick, and I ran into one couple that they said, can we wait till this week, till next week to get back to you because we have the grandchildren coming, and we want them to be part of it. We had an overwhelming response, and I'm happy to announce, and these will be published on social media, on Oak Tree Park, the winning one was, you can't see this, but we'll get these to you, option 1 for those who participated, and for Birch Tree Park, the winning was option 2, which are both kind of interesting. They're more brown, woodsy kind of thing, as people like to say. And for for Lenium Park, it was actually also, again, option 2. So we will be publicizing this. We're going to get these ordered, and hopefully the next 60 to 90 days, get them installed in each of the parks. One other thing that we did tonight, we had before we came to the floor, council approved. The Recreation Board came to us as we're putting these trails into the community parks in particular. We did it over at Village Green last year, 2 years ago, I guess pre-COVID, and there's a walking track. So what the Recreation Board did was recommend that we put maybe some exercise equipment, similar to what they have down at the park. So it'll be some outdoor type equipment. I think there's 4 pieces that'll be stationed up at Village Green Park. Council welcomed the recommendation from the Recreation Board. We will get that ordered, and once again, that should be installed within the next 60 to 90 days. I think a goal in our strategy overall is, we talk about a lot of the things we do, but we don't do as much follow-up as what we need to do. So I know the Rec Board brought this up, and I know staff is working on improving our communications. So one of the things we're looking to do is a series on the neighborhood parks. What we've done, each park has its own identity. It's something a little bit different, so you won't find the same playground equipment at each of the parks. You'll find something a little bit different. And then I will announce tonight that look for in Oak Tree Park, Gaga Ball is coming. Now, you're going to have to look that up to figure out what Gaga Ball is, but there will be a Gaga Ball court at Oak Tree Park in addition to the playground equipment. Are there any additional items? Hearing none, Mr. O'Brien.
I'd just like to thank staff and the police department and the manager and the library and everyone for doing these tough times. They just kept going, kept doing what they needed to do. In fact, in some cases, they did more. They looked for areas where improvement, for money, to be creative in how to provide services to this community, Public Works, and this council. It wasn't easy. Our way to communicate has always been in person and working with each other. We found a way. We found a way to change and to still exist and try and give the people the high quality of professionalism that they deserve. And I just want to say thank you to everyone here, and hopefully we never, ever, ever see anything like it again. Thank you, Mr. Murray.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. Murray, I want to follow up on Mr. O'Brien's comments. Christine, our director of the library, did an outstanding job during this COVID situation, put it that way. Our library was opened almost nonstop. And there's other libraries that aren't too far from us that are still wondering how we did it, because they just opened a short time ago. But hats off to Christine, hats off to Mark for the great job that he did for the memorial services. And if you haven't been to our parks and our fields, please visit them, because Susan Dolinar and her staff are doing an outstanding job. And you mentioned all these parks that in our community. People aren't going to have to go to Kennywood. They can just stay in Bethel Park and visit the parks, because once we get that splash park going, this place, you won't want to move here. You won't want to leave here. You'll be moving here, and with our police chief here, you're not going to have any problem with protection. Thank you.
As long as you
Joe,
follow
are you
the law.
angling for a roller coaster?
Mr. Murray,
Mr. Harrison.
I just want to mention, when they had the Meet the Candidates night, one of the things came up was the fact that the demographics of Bethel Park, the citizenry is getting older and older. And the way to take care of that is to attract the young people that have young children or plan on having children. So I just want to mention that we are addressing that problem by this parks development that Mr. Maury spoke to.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harrison. Are any additional items?
Move we
Hearing
adjourn.
none, motion to adjourn by Mr. Hannan, second by Mr. Consolmagno.
Yes.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone.